Well, good afternoon, everyone. How are you? Hope you're having a great afternoon. And it's always good to say hello to a few friends that have come on as you get your notifications here. And who are we going to say hello to first here today? Number one on the hit parade is Mike from Norland. How are you? And Donna, how are you? Nice to see you. Nice to have you on. Andrea, Niagara Falls. And Shelley from Baxter. Patricia, Calgary. And Sandy, good afternoon. And Bonnie and Fran from Orangeville. Faye, how is ya? And Wanda from Texas. Suzanne, Southern Ontario, or Susan. Anne, Moncton, New Brunswick. Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia, as we head east. Nick, from our staff. Madeleine, Kippawa, Quebec. Frida. And Wendy from Markham. Susan, Camrose, Alberta. Carrie, Nebraska, how are you? Vera, Newfoundland. And Sandra. And Nellie. And Catherine, Parksville, British Columbia. Deborah, Pennsylvania. Carol, Wasaga Beach. And Judy, New Brunswick. Marl from Ottawa. Chantal, Ottawa. 2 in a row. Vince, how is you? And Marcia from Mexico. Okay, good to have you on. Francis, couple of more and we'll get going here. Darlene, Saskatchewan. Mary, Snowy Cape Breton. Giovanna, how are you? Kathy from Texas. Judy from Ontario. Guys from all over North America. And there's probably Barbara, how are you? Lori, Niagara Falls. And Kevin, our friend from Oshawa. Penny, Foothill. Olive is in the house. Marilyn, Campbellford, Ontario. Larry and Lorraine. Guys, Nancy, how are you? Okay. Now, I just want to I'm going to go through this fast, and we're going to talk about osteoporosis today because I got a lot of questions about that, and I want to answer those. Now, yesterday we did the 7 deadly sins. They all started with S. Sugar, sweets, soft drinks, starchy foods, seed oils like canola oil, stress, and snacking. So I hope you got those 7. And we went into a little bit of detail on that'll kill you. This kind of stuff is certainly deadly. Okay? And most of it has to do with food. Okay. And 7 things, I'm going to give you 7 things to counteract. Okay? I'm going to give you 7 things to counteract that. 7 things that will keep you healthy. And you already know most of them, but let's keep to the S's for a bit at least. Sun, steak, steel, sleep, salt. Is that 5? Stress management, 6. Trying to see if I can find another S. Well, I'll think of one. Right now I got 6, okay? But guys, I mean that. Like, I got asked today, it's kind of funny. I was talking to a vegetarian and listen, I said, look, I had 1,000 or more vegetarians or vegans in the office. I love them. I did. I used to try and convince them that they were wrong, but I still love them, right? I did, and I worked with them. Some of them I could not convince. I could not convince to start eating eggs, meat, and cheese. I couldn't do it. So I said, look, okay, just as long as you understand, you now have a diet that you must supplement. Okay, you must supplement. You should be on vitamin D anyways, but you got to be on vitamin D. You're not going to get vitamin D from your food. It's not found in the plant kingdom. The other thing I said, you got to take B12. Okay? But what I was saying also to him is I said, what I've done with you guys very often, and that is bring me the best plant food that you can think of. And you can't put it up against a steak. You just can't. Not from the amino profile. I was reading a study today, and maybe I'll bring it to you at a later date or whenever I get a chance. It was on L-arginine. Okay, L-arginine. And they're talking about how good L-arginine is for your heart, how good L-arginine is for your blood vessels. And they were talking about L-arginine, about, ED for men. And that men should be prescribed L-arginine, which is an amino acid. And when they were going through the benefits of L-arginine, I'm thinking steak. L-arginine is found in steak. It's not found in the plant kingdom. There's not enough of it. And yesterday I talked to you about CoQ10 and the importance of CoQ10. You're not going to top up your levels of CoQ10 for your heart and brain when you're vegetarian. You won't find it. It's not in the plant kingdom. You can't top it up with plants. And again, I love those people. They're just wrong. They've been duped. And this one guy was telling me he became a vegetarian because he was worried about his heart and his triglycerides had gone up. I said, well, your triglycerides don't go up from eating meat. I said, you were eating way too much sugar. And, he what? I thought triglycerides were fat. Well, it is. 3 fat balls. But it doesn't come from eating fat. Triglycerides go up when you are a carboholic and you love sugar. I said, that's what was your problem was. It wasn't meat. Meat doesn't elevate triglycerides. Meat decreases your triglycerides and will elevate your HDL. Your cholesterol that will go after triglycerides in your bloodstream, hook their wagon to them and bring them back to your liver for processing. So the only reason you got high triglycerides is because you had fatty liver and you were eating way too many carbs. He said, my doctor never told me that. Now, they don't talk about triglycerides so much unless they're flagged very high, and then they give you the wrong advice on how to get rid of them. Or not, you don't want to get rid of triglycerides, but how do you bring them down? How do you bring them down? Guys, steak, steel. Son, steak, steel. I was reading another article. Some of these I won't go into a lot of detail, but here's the headline of this study, even a small amount of vitamin E, I put that in there. They said exercise. I put the real vitamin E. even a small amount of exercise will help you if you are depressed. Okay, this just came out. Even a small amount of, guys, exercise, vitamin E, get moving. Get moving. And guys, the more you understand metabolic syndrome, which is characterized, by the way, I didn't have time to explain it to this gentleman today, which is characterized by high triglycerides, low HDL, high blood pressure, or higher than normal. It can be still within normal limits, but, you know, in the high end, you have high blood pressure and waist circumference, over 35 in women, around the waist, and right at the belly button there, and then men over 40, you're over that with your waist circumference, and you got metabolic syndrome. Now, slightly elevated blood sugar will do it too, put you in that category. I like to use uric acid because it's a metabolic thing. And by the way, most people that have high levels of uric acid don't have any condition like gout whatsoever. They don't have any symptoms, and yet their uric acid levels are high. And uric acid is insulin resistance. It's insulin resistance. So what are the things that we want to do? Okay, and just very quickly, sun, vitamin D. Is there any vitamin better than vitamin D? All-cause mortality. It's just unreal how people still today, they don't understand the significance of vitamin D. Heart, brain, joints, blood vessels, immune system. Look, it's part of metabolic syndrome. If you have low levels of vitamin D, you have, and they should include it in that category of metabolic syndrome. They should put it in because it's almost at 100%. If people are low in vitamin D, which the vast majority of the population have, is it 93%? Like metabolic syndrome, is 93% of the population are unwell metabolically. And that's just about the right statistic for people having low levels and not optimized levels of vitamin D. Sun, steak, steel, sleep, stress. The lowest hanging fruit about stress management is sleep. And, you know, this is essential. And yet, again, we see in the world in which we live, guys, you know, 70% of the population would tell you they don't get a good night's sleep. They just don't. And, you know, you're stressed and you don't sleep, and you don't sleep and you're stressed. And it's a low-hanging fruit if you can, if, you know, I met people over the years that, you know, they didn't have a good immune system. They had autoimmune and they were not well and they had a chronic disease. But one thing, and we used to go after this in the clinic, let's get you sleeping. If we can get you sleeping, the body will repair. It's amazing what happens when you sleep. Not only for your brain, guys, because we all know about the self-cleaning oven. Your brain only goes into self-cleaning, the glymphatic system in the brain, when you're sleeping. Sun, steak, steel, sleep, salt. Hey, salty. Guys, don't blame salt for what sugar did. We went salt-free in the 70s for high blood pressure. People went salt-free. Look, I don't particularly like table salt, okay? But we need salt. We need salt. Now pick out a good salt. There's some good salts out there. Himalayan salt, pink salts, and Celtic salts, kosher salts. They're full of minerals. They're full of trace minerals, guys. That's the difference. Sodium chloride, the salt in the shakers in the restaurant, that's not salt. That's been stripped away from all of its vital minerals. You need that. So important. It's so important. Electrolytes. It's so important for your body. And people are walking around and they don't have a clue that they need water and salt. So anyway, we could use water. I could talk about your gut. I could certainly talk about coffee. But we won't do that. Let's just spend our remaining time here today talking about osteoporosis, okay? Because I got asked this the other day, and we could wait till Friday and have question and answer Friday. Why, Dr. Martin, why shouldn't I take a calcium supplement for osteoporosis, okay? And you know what? I sort of chuckled, but it is a good question. It really is, because you know that calcium today is still the #1 selling supplement. No one, nada, not a person on the planet should take calcium as a supplement. Not one person. Well, maybe I would rephrase it and no, not one person. No. Okay? Not one person. Well, Dr. Martin, you tell people not to take calcium supplements. Why do you do that? Well, I say, why would you bring sand to the beach? Why would you bring sand to the beach? You're already getting calcium. The problem with calcium is it's not being delivered to the bones. If you take a calcium supplement, you're bringing sand to the beach. You don't need it. You need transportation of calcium to your bones. Guys, I've talked to you about this before. The best thing you can do for your bones is food. Eggs, meat, and cheese. Why? Because you're eating calcium. There's calcium in steak. There's calcium in cheese. There's calcium in eggs. But there's calcium in salad and kale. You know what the problem is? It will not be delivered to your bones. Okay? You eat nuts and seeds. There's some calcium in there. It doesn't get delivered. God put calcium with vitamin K2. And that's what he wants you to eat. Because vitamin K2 is the transporter of calcium to bone. Eggs, calcium. Vitamin K2. Meat, calcium plus vitamin K2. Cheese, calcium. We all know that, right? We all know that cheese has calcium. Butter has calcium. Why is butter and cheese so good for you? Because it has calcium with vitamin K2, not K1. K1 is in the plant kingdom. That's all right. I'm not saying it's not a good vitamin. I'm not telling you not well, don't live on salad. On my days when I'm soft, I allow you to talk about salad. I know so many of you love it, okay? But that's not really a health food, guys, okay? That's going to do nothing for your bones. Nothing. You need vitamin K2. The Rodney Dangerfield of vitamins. People don't give it any respect because they don't know the importance of it. Vitamin K2. It's in your food. That's why we put vitamin K2 in our vitamin D. Because vitamin D, even a physician knows this. Oh, that's good for your bones. Yeah, vitamin D, that's good for your bones. Yeah, I know that. But you want to transport it with vitamin K2. Okay? You want to transport it. That's why the Eskimos, the Inuit, okay? That's why they never had trouble with their bones. They got vitamin D. How did they get it? They never see the sun. They go months without the sun. Well, they were getting their vitamin D in food. And by the way, if you get vitamin D in food, it only lasts a meal. You got to constantly, okay? It don't even give you 24 hours of vitamin D, okay? Now, that's all right. If you're an Inuit living in the North Pole, that's where I tell people in the States. They ask me where Sudbury is. I said, well, Santa Claus is up here, and Sudbury is right here, okay? Not far from the North Pole. Okay? No, but guys, you need vitamin K2 to have strong bones. And you can get it in food when you eat eggs, meat, and cheese, and butter. Okay? Got the memo? Vitamin D, vitamin K2, osteoporosis. Guys, let me tell you something that's very, very, very important for bones. Muscle. Muscle. Because people don't equate muscle with bones. But what are muscles attached to? Bones. And guys, you want that anchor. The stronger your muscles, the more they anchor into that bone. And the bone builds density because of muscle. And the more the muscle grabs on because it's strong. This is the biggest problem with osteopenia and osteoporosis is a lack of muscle. Sarcopenia. I know those are big words, but just understand you need muscle. And for muscle, okay, obviously, guys, okay, guys, build the pipes, okay? I tell my grandchildren, Grandpa has trouble getting these across the border, these pipes, these guns. No, but seriously, guys, because that is one of the greatest anti-aging things you can do is build muscle. Okay? So one of them is actually strengthening them. And I was showing a group yesterday. I did a Zoom conference yesterday. out of Dallas. And I was showing them, like, even grip strength is important. You can strengthen yourself. I don't care if you're 80 years old, you can get stronger. Guys, it's very doable. You don't have to spend a fortune. If you want to go to a gym, I love gyms, okay? Gyms owe me money because I pump their tires all the time. But look, you don't have to go to a gym. You can do it. You get these push-up bars if you can. Or the tensor bands and that. They're so good. They're not expensive. Get a hand gripper in that, and it's strong. Now, the second thing about muscles, you must feed your muscles to feed the bones. Okay? I already told you about vitamin K2, but I'm going to tell you about something else now. What your muscles need, and you will lose muscle if you're not eating enough protein. I'm going to say a general statement right now. 90% of the population don't eat enough protein. And when they do, they're eating the wrong type of protein. They're getting their protein from vegetable sources. Now, I'm not saying there's no benefit to it. What I am saying to you, it will not benefit your bones. Your muscles need exercise, one. Okay, so walking's all right, but it's not enough. Not for osteoporosis. And two, your muscles need what? Your muscles, what do they need? They need protein. And they need those amino acids. They need a broad spectrum of them. Because your bone is an organ and it needs muscle, and muscle needs protein. And your bones need protein. And your bones need animal protein. Osteoporosis is a big problem for seniors. It's a huge problem. And we want to avoid it. Vitamin K, muscle, protein, vitamin E, especially resistant exercise. Guys, get stronger. Get stronger. Okay? And like I said, most people just do not. And like, guys, if you have to, the best protein shake. Because a lot of people, Doc, how am I going to get, I'm not going to eat that much meat. I just won't, I can't, I won't do it, whatever. Okay, make yourself a Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie with cream, heavy cream, and bone broth protein. It is so good for osteoporosis. It has vitamin K2. It has calcium with the K2 to deliver it. Why? You're drinking cream. Do you know how good that is for you? And put a scoop of bone broth. Holy moly. It is so stinking good for you. And it tastes good. I had one today. I go, man, oh man, that tastes good. I was talking to a cancer patient the other day, and I said, man, you need to, I know you don't have an appetite, but whatever you do, make sure you get a bone broth smoothie in every day. Okay, doc. Does it taste good? I said, it tastes like you're getting a shake at McDonald's. That's how good it is. Without the sugar. You'll love it. And by the way, it's another reason to take mineral salt, okay, for your bones. It's another reason. You need magnesium. for your bones. And what's really important for your bones is that salt. Add salt. Doesn't it taste great on food? Enjoy it. Okay. Okay, guys. I'm breathing. Okay, we love you guys. You know that. I say it all every day, but I mean it. Okay, and get your questions in for tomorrow. It's not too late. Question and Answer Friday. We have a ball here on Question and Answer Friday. We really do. Okay, and if you can share this, okay, share it. Guys, that's how you've made this the #1 program in health. You have. Thank you. Okay? You guys did this. We appreciate it. We love you dearly. Okay? We'll talk to you soon.